the dialogue. Is the United States willing to change something regarding this process, which is for 13 years, like directly from
almost.
Brussels?
I think the dialogue began in 2011.
Yeah.
I was working at the White House at the time on Kosovo, Serbia, among other things. So I remember the beginning of the dialogue well. And that's the point I would make, is we have adjusted our approach and our engagement and the way in which we've cooperated with the European Union on this, and with the parties several times over the course of the life of the dialogue. But a couple things are fundamental that haven't changed and won't change. We are committed to seeing Kosovo take its place in European and Euro-Atlantic structures. We are committed to supporting Kosovo as a sovereign, democratic, multi-ethnic state, playing its role, becoming an aspirant for the European Union, moving towards NATO membership, and ultimately having a regularized relationship with all of its neighbors, including Serbia. That has always been our strategic goal, and that's what we've tried to advance in the dialogue. At different times, the dialogue is focused on different things. At different times, we've played a more supporting role or a more active role. I think right now it'd be difficult for us to be more active than we are. We coordinate we coordinate extremely closely with Miroslav Lajčák and his team, with Joseph Borrell. You saw the visit by the national security advisors of Germany, France, and Italy, and Miroslav Lajčák, joined by our special envoy, Gabriel Escobar, who's been in many of these rounds of meetings and things. I spend a lot of my own time engaging directly with the government of Kosovo, with the Prime Minister, President, and others on dialogue issues. I think it'd be hard for the United States to be more actively involved than we actually are right now, with one possible exception. And this is sometimes what's asked in different ways. Why don't we take over the negotiations? Why don't we play the role?
That is the will of many people here in Pristina.
It might be, but it's not the will of the United States or the European Union. And that's not because we don't care about the issue, but because we don't think it would work. At the end of the day, the outcome of this process is Kosovo integrated into European and Euro-Atlantic structures. It needs to be an EU-led process that makes sure that all of the adjustments and reforms and processes conform to European standards. Your destiny is as part of the European Union, not as the 51st state of the United States of America. Therefore, it is appropriate that the European Union take the lead, but with extraordinarily strong support from us, and that continues to be the case. One last point I'd make on this. If we were the facilitators or the negotiators, we would probably have to be neutral. Well, we're not neutral. We made the decision back in 2008. We support Kosovo as a democratic, sovereign, independent state. I sometimes compare part of this process to watching a football match when you can already see the final score on the scoreboard. I know how the game ends. I know how this will ultimately, I can't tell you how we're going to get through the 45 minutes of the second half and exactly who's going to play what position and score what goal, but I know how it ends. Kosovo taking its place, being a member of the European Union, being a member of NATO, that's our long-term strategic goal. And so we're not neutral on this. We haven't been. We strongly encourage this government now to work with us and the European Union to implement fully the obligations it's entered into under the basic agreement, the implementation annex, just as we have this conversation with Serbia to advance this vision.
Yeah, Mr. Ambassador, we saw big disbelief from Prime Minister Kurti towards Mr. Miroslav Lajčák, the official mediator towards the dialogue between Kosovo and Serbia. How do you see those comments from Kurti towards Mr. Lajčák?
You know, I've been asked about this before, and I think I will let my previous remarks stand, which is just simply that the United States has full confidence in Miroslav Lajčák as the special representative for the Serbia-Kosovo normalization, and we support him.
Kurti thinks that Lajčák is supporting Serbia.
I'm aware of what he has said. I can just repeat that he enjoys our full support.
If the actual process, Mr. Ambassador, mediated by the European Union, potentially fails, do you see a possibility for organizing international conference similar to Dayton, a forum that could open a new